yeah, what I was saying is this console log is really just going to be boilerplate, and we're not even really going to be using it for anything. We're going to have to come back and we're going to fill it out later. So I'm just going to say if object dot keys, and so basically we're looking at the keys of this dot length. I mean, this is really checking, do we have anything in the D object at all? Like anything. Have we loaded anything at all? And basically this is a protection for the comment here. Make sure we don't log anything if we haven't yet loaded the configuration data. Okay, and I know that's a little bit long, so let me truncate this and I'll keep this thing on my left so you can see a little bit better. Okay. Oops. And I'm going to bump this up because this is too long there. So put it on the line above. Make sure we don't log anything if we haven't yet loaded the configuration data. And maybe this will all fit on one line now. Yeah, there we go. That works. Okay. Okay. And that's protecting us, because if we haven't loaded anything, it doesn't make sense to start logging. Because the logging is controlled by the configuration setting and a bunch of other stuff. So then we say let, inside that if, we're going to say let, oh, and by the way, I'm going to do this down here. End if, and I'm going to copy paste this. Because we're going to be adding quite a bit of stuff here later, not necessarily right now. Okay, let console log enabled equals configurator dot get configuration setting console log enabled. Oops, that needs to be in quotes. On Butterfingers today. If console log enabled equals true. Again, I could probably leave this true off, and it would resolve the same way, and that's fine. So we got that second if. Now the second if, I'm going to put another note here because, like I said, we are going to be adding quite a bit of stuff inside here. And if console log enabled equals true. So if the console log setting is there and it's enabled, then we can go do some log. If we don't have either of those two conditions, it doesn't make sense to do anything at all. And it doesn't make sense to try to call the configurator to get the configuration setting if we don't have any data at all in our data object. So that's why I'm sort of nesting these. Otherwise, I would put this up here, and I just do this condition and that condition. But I'm just protecting myself here. I'm trying to optimize the code a little bit. Yeah, you got that. That's good enough. And okay, then now I notice I didn't put the console log begin and blah 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 and I didn't do all of that other stuff that we normally do for a boilerplate, because this thing is going to get called thousands and 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 thousands of times. And if I do all of that stuff, which I can't do anyways because I can't do console log inside a console log, it'll create a circular dependency. So it doesn't make sense to do all of that. And I may not necessarily want to log every single time I'm calling this, because there's a whole bunch of times where there's not going to be any data. The console log might not even be enabled. So I want to put my stuff down inside of here, just to protect the console log itself. So I'm just trying to be, play a little common sense here. Console.log begin, and I have to hard code these again because I can't call the console log within the console log to console log, because that's gonna console log, and then we'll be into this circular dependency it's an infinite loop. And we don't want that. So loggers.console log function. So now I've hard-coded even the namespace and the function name. Like I just raw hard-coded it as a hard-coded string. Console.log class path is, oops, I guess I could do this with a backtick. Class path is sign curly brace class path. So it's basically the same thing I was doing in my other functions. It's just a little bit more hard-coded. Console.log backtick message is sign curly brace. Okay. Now, again, we're not going to be using all of this. We're not going to be using it. We're not even calling this function yet because we don't have a lot of the other stuff that we need to be able to do. But I'm just sort of like bringing out a skeleton here. And we want to be able to log to a log file in addition to the console. So I'm going to start to build out that skeleton. Let log file equals configurator get configuration setting, and then I'll say application cleaned root path. There might be a better place to put this, and I'll resolve that later because, like I said, we're nowhere near ready to actually start using this in like an environment where the code could be called production. So it's not like that. Log file, we're still a ways away from that point. If log file not equal to undefined, and things get a little bit interesting here. We'll say log file equals, I'm going to do the backtick again, $, curly brace, log file, and then // logs. So basically, if I go to my project space, when I run this application, it should create a logs folder under my test harness, and my logs, my run logs should show up there. I think. I believe so. That's the intent anyways. I've had problems with this in the past, but we'll get it to work for sure, no matter what. Alright, and then we've got console.log backtick log file before path.resolve is some log file. And then we do log file equals path.resolve log file. So we're just resolving it and saving it back to itself. Console.log backtick again. Log file after path.resolve is, and you could do the copy paste thing again if you like, log file, because it's the same thing, the only difference is before or after. Okay. Log file equals log file plus / plus configurator get configuration setting log file path and name. And I'm not sure if we have that configuration setting in place yet or not, but like I said, we're not even calling this function, so I'm not too worried about right now if this is again just a skeleton. Console.log log file after adding the log file name. Oops, this one should be backticked again. Okay. Sign curly brace log. Okay, so now I'm going to drop down and I'm just going to declare a bunch of stuff, and I do need to have an end at the end of it. Putting it at the very end, I'm putting it at the end right before this curly brace, because once we drop out of this curly brace and out of this other one, that's where we get into the realm of, okay, everything's just going to blow up, and we're just going to get this message all the time. So we don't want that. Again, I'm putting in all of this stuff kind of inside these double if conditions to protect us. And then this should stay end. Okay. And then I'm just going to declare a bunch of stuff that we're going to use when we build out the rest of this function. Because there's a whole, and it's not just this function. There's like this function and like 8 other functions. And even some other libraries with like 10 other functions in that other library. So there's a whole lot of stuff coming for loggers. Let debug function setting equals false. Let debug file setting equals false. Let debug setting equal false. Let output message equals an empty string. Let configuration name equals an empty string. Let configuration namespace equal an empty string. And that's it. So not the end of the world. And then we're done. That's the last of it. We don't even need to export this because we're not going to worry about that right now. It's really, like I said, just scaffolding. Oops. I see a typo.
And then from there, we're going to start again, right? And we're actually going to start building the framework, or?
Actually, we're just going to dive right into what I've already built, because what I've already built is basically going to be identical to what you're going to be building through this training.
So, okay, so then are we going to continue building on the framework that you already have, or from there, like, so what do you expect to do?
Some of it will be building on. Just kind of like what your comfort level is. I'm going to give you small tasks to begin with, and then challenge you to build out more and more and more, and more and more confidence, and get stronger and better, and more resilient code, and following protocols. And we'll do very rigorous code reviews to make sure that you get additional training to make sure that you're delivering on what the expectations are. There'll be
what do you want, like, so that's where I'm a little confused, like what am I building on? Like, what if the framework's already pretty much good to go, what is it that I'm building on? Am I building?
It's not. I mean, it's really well put together as it is. But I would say it's right off the starting line, and we've still got the rest of the race to run. So
okay.
As far as an enterprise platform, I mean, we're talking, maybe 20, 30,000 lines of code. As far as what I've got already built, because I've been building on it for 2 years or more, and so I've really taken it a long ways. Like, it's really got a lot of. It's a good starting point. It's a really good starting point.
Right.
But it's nowhere near where we need it to be for an enterprise application. It needs a plug-in system. It'd be really good if we could put together internationalization and multi-language support. It needs all kinds of documentation. It needs unit tests. It needs some integration testing. Like I said, the plug-in system needs to be built. We need a thread manager. It needs to be turned into an asynchronous platform so that we can use it. It needs a thread management system, so we could use multi-threaded. Turn it into a multi-threaded application. Those are huge systems. They're enormous. They're as big as the command system I've already built, which is already huge. It's as big as the business rules system I've already built. Neither of which you guys have actually built yet. But I think the plugin system, or the business rules system, is next. At least the outline for it.
Okay.
So part of this training is learning how to build systems, learning how a systems architecture is, how you design a subsystem so that it's integrated with the other components across the platform. There's performance considerations. How do you balance performance versus, codability or readability? And then there's guardrails. Like, how do you build guardrails into your system so that there's design patterns that other coders need to follow. So everybody's just building on what you've already done instead of going off and
So,
inventing their own thing.
so then once we get, I guess, to a certain point, then from there we're just putting together the scripts for it to
Some of it,
function.
yeah, we need to build a plugin we need to build a plugin system, and then we need to build a plugin that enhances it with the user interface codability, the user interface UI testing, and that'll be building on leveraging concept. I think that's where we're going to be going with that, so that we can pivot from Playwright if we ever need to, for whatever reason. So, once we have the concept plugin built, then from there we'll be, starting to write out a few scripts to prototype out the scripting system, make sure all of that works. We'll start to enhance it with the Gherkin, Gherkin code system, so it's natural language. That'll be an enhancement, and then eventually we'll start to build out a CTD system. We'll probably build this thing up to be able to do it, to be a test runner, so that it can run, use it almost like a jest kind of system. We're going to have to build reporting, so it'll have a reporting system built into it to generate reports. There'll probably be a live reporting system, something like a CloudWatch JSON logging output. There's so much stuff to do. I mean, I could, pull out every single one of my hairs for one of these subsystems we need to build, and we'd still never get it all done. And there's no way I can do all of that on my own. No way. I need help. I need a team. That's why I'm here to, build you guys up, so we can all work together.
Right.
And then there's all the fun stuff we can do. Great. We can build an enterprise platform off of this, but it'd be really cool to build a plugin system. Another plugin that's a video game engine, and tie it off of that to go do some fun stuff on the side, so we can have game jams and do all kinds of cool stuff and build arcade games. And it's just I'd like to have fun with it. I mean, that's Dan's mantra is have fun, right? So
Yeah.
Let's. I'm passionate about this architecture because it's got so many cool things, and I think once you get past the plugin system or the business rules system, and we start getting into integrating and actually building up loggers and integrating the configuration, the business rules, and the loggers together as a cohesive unit, you're gonna have a blind blown moment. It's just gonna be like, whoa. So, but I think we're good. Save it, and let's see if I'm gonna run mine, and I want to see if you can run yours, and let's collectively sort of do this. I've got the recording running.
Okay.
And I think I'm in Haystacks right now, and I don't want to be there. Status. Yeah, CD. Okay, this is Calc framework. NPM test. We should be able to run NPM test because it's a test harness that we're running. Okay, so I've got an error. I can't find module structures data, and that's in file operations. Okay, so probably just a copy paste or something. File operations doesn't know where D is. Let D equals require. Spell that right? Did I spell this right? STRUCTRES. Need to correct this. Okay. I need to rename this. STRUCTURES. Structures. Let's try that now. Oh, if I didn't do that right, then it's not going to be right anywhere else. I need to go back through my code and double check everything that's using structures. That's spelled right. That one I just fixed. That one's spelled right. Don't need it there. Name. Don't need it there. Test harness. Nope, don't need it there. Okay, I think we're good now. Let's try that again. Huh, yeah, see now. Okay, cannot read properties of undefined reading length. Okay, so I think I've got the same problem you've got. Now we can go figure this out. This looks like it's the same problem. If you keep scrolling up in your console log, and let's look at some stuff. Go all the way up to the top, and let's. Okay, see, you're getting into multiple runs, so you might need to, like, actually clear out the screen and then try to run it again. So you get a clean run. So yeah, you can see here, we can look and see how the application actually ran. Begin test harness bootstrap application function. Begin main framework.main init framework. So we know these functions because we wrote them. Client. Okay, now here's some data. Client configuration is, and there's curly brackets. So here is our client configuration data. Now, I can copy paste this into Notepad++. If Notepad++ will open. You can paste it in there and Control-Alt-M, and I can look at the data itself. So app name, test harness, app root, calc framework, app config reference path is test resources configuration. Okay, so that looks right. And on your screen, application test harness, root path is users, there you go, VS Code calc frame. And app config reference path is test resources configuration. So that looks right. And then there's this controllers.warden process root path. Config data is, so it's the same thing. Path elements is C calc framework. Now yours is, path elements is what? Let's see, your path elements is, oh, that looks like that. It didn't break it up right. Root path is, oh, maybe it did. Root path is calc framework. Yeah, I think you're good. I think that's the actual root path for the app, for the repo, right?
It is, yep.
Okay, so I think you're good. And then end controllers warden process root path. And then we have this begin controllers.warden init framework schema function. Okay, so we wrote that function. Remember all these things. Okay, config data is. Now we've got more data. So we can I can copy paste this config data again. And we can go in here and paste it and Control-Alt-M and I format it. And I've got application name test harness root path is app config reference path app root path app config path. Okay, so on my system that looks good. Framework config path, that also looks good. So make sure both of those are right. App config path and framework config path. It looks right on, yeah, it looks right. You've got the source resources configuration and test resources configuration accordingly. So that looks perfect. I think that's what we're expecting to see. Begin controllers chief configuration setup configuration. Okay, app config path is calc framework test resources configuration. Yeah, did that show up right on yours? App config path. App config path, there you go. Test resources configuration. Yeah, that looks right. Framework config path is source resources configuration. So both look fine. Begin Xcitrix configurator set configuration setting app config path. So there goes that app config path. Configuration value is framework calc framework test resources configuration. End Xcitrix.configurator.set configuration setting begin again, another set configuration. So there's the framework config path. We're setting it. And Xcetrix set configuration setting. Begin chief data, set up all JSON data. Okay.
Set up all JSON config data, right?
And yeah, set up all JSON config data.
Wait, what do you?
And
I have function. You have function?
yeah, function.
But it looks like you have a space. I don't have a space on mine.
Oh yeah. Well, that's probably just a like a space in that should be fairly easy to fix. It shouldn't matter. I mean, it shouldn't matter to the
Okay.
execution.
Very
It would be good to fix it just for readability, but yeah. So that's something to look at.
Framework config path.
Data path configuration name is framework config path, and then return context name. Where's your context name? Okay, up a little bit. Its name is configuration. Begin Xcetrix configurator, get configuration setting, framework config path. Now we've got the path to the configuration, which is source resources configuration. Now, do you have that there? Let's see here. Just looking up here. Framework config path, return configuration value there. There it is. Sort calc framework source resources configuration. So you're good there. And Xcetrix configurator get configuration setting, and then we scan data path. Okay, so scan data path, and data path is calc framework source resources configuration. Begin Xcetrix file operation, read directory contents, and this is where it starts to go wrong. Calc framework source resources configuration. Files found is undefined. So we've got something wrong. File operations. Redirectory contents. Root path. Read directory contents. It's got to be in here. File operations. I'm just going to go test something real quick. It's on a different branch. Oh yeah, this is working. So I've got it working on my other one. Let me open a second terminal and see what the differences are, because I should be able to see. Framework. Yes, npm test. Should be able to see where things went differently. Process root path. All framework config data. Okay, so yeah, it didn't actually load. It loaded on my other one, but not on this one. File operations, I could go look and see. We might have to add a few debugging things here. Directory catch for each index. Let me try and enable this. I'm trying to triage this a little bit. Scan data path. Files found as undefined. Is that the right folder? Let's check that. Calc framework. Source. Resources. Configuration. JSON file right there. should have found this file and it should have loaded it. Or at least listed the file. Try running over here now. Process root path. Redirectory synchronously. Begin file operations. Redirectory synchronously. Directory is test resources configuration. Oh, wait a minute. I think there might have been something I didn't get right. Let's try back over here. Test harness. Test resources configuration. App config reference path, root path, application name. Okay, that looks right. Come back to main. Okay, back to main. I think there might have been a bug here that I needed to fix. App root path, app config path, framework config path, their name, resources configuration, app config reference path. Nope. Warden maybe? Warden app config path, framework config path. I got a better idea. Let's try this. That one and this one. Okay. Huh? I don't have it installed? Are you kidding me? Okay, give me a minute. I need to go get a tool.
Okay.
This is a standard dev tool. Come on. How can I not have that on this system? Are you kidding me? I don't believe it. This is one of those standard operating procedure installs. There we go. Okay, what am I missing? What's different? Okay, I'm not worried about that. Package.json. That's fine. That does, none of that should matter. Okay. Source. Main, what's different? Nothing here that should be outstanding. Warden, path, base name, base prefix. I don't see anything nasty. Okay. Let's come back up to test harness. Blank. No, it's fine. Stacks. Nothing too outstanding. That's fine. I don't see anything that should be a problem. Not at that level. So look here. Nope, that's identical. Okay. Let's come back in here. Oops, brokers. Let's go check controllers first. Warden. No, nothing major. Chief configuration. Let me know if you see anything that I'm missing. Chief data. I don't see anything major standing out. Nope. Pretty much all the same. Brokers. Data broker. Nope. I don't see anything there. Nothing major standing out here either. This looks like that.
JSON stringify.
Yeah, I see that. That could come over. That's correct. That would be a good one to do. Well, it's file to load, which shouldn't matter. But whatever. File to load. No. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be, because it's a string. Okay, never mind. Alright. This is not correct. Anyways. Okay. Brokers, controllers, Xtrix. Configurator. Don't see anything standing out here either. Major there. Could see that. That's not a major thing. File operations. I don't see anything here. Prast data. Oh, I saw a typo there. Is that parsed? This looks like that could be a problem. Prast. That could be a problem. Get JSON data. Yeah, that could do it. That could be the problem. Could be something simple like that. Parsed. Prast. Okay. Read directory contents. Oh. Do we not have that function? Oh. Oh, do we not have that function? Read directories synchronously? Read directory contents, read directory synchronous. Where's my this folder? Where's that function? Let me go check that. File operations. Read directory contents. Huh. Yep, we're missing a function. Wow. Okay, well, WinMerge helped me figure it out. Let me go back there. Yep, we're missing a function. I think I implemented the wrong function in the wrong place. Yep. Yep, that's what happened. I've instructed you incorrectly. This is on me.
It's on the wrong place, you said.
Well, we implemented the wrong function with the wrong name. So this function should be called read directory synchronous. And the header is correct, but it's for a different function. So this function acts as a wrapper for calling read directory synchronously since the function is recursive. Also, that function doesn't technically return anything. It works with a global variable that needs to be reset after the work is done with it. These are the things that the wrapper function can do. Path needs to be scanned. An object containing an array of all the files in the folder and all subfolders.
Which file is this? File operations?
Yeah, file operations. So
where? Which folder?
Under Xtrix.
Mine's different.
Yeah. Okay, hold on a second. Let me look at yours. Okay, so you've got get JSON data at the top, and then scrolling down from get JSON data. What's below that? Yeah, read directory contents. Okay. And you've got the same header that I do, which is fine. That's okay. I changed this just now. Keep going down. Keep going down. Keep going down. Keep going down. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Yep. See, this is a different function. This is supposed to be the read directory synchronously function. So you've got the right function. It's just with the wrong header and the wrong name. So let's change this to read directory synchronously.
Could have sworn we did that.
And we're going to implement the other function, the one that we're missing.
Well, look, it's already picking it up.
Yeah, it's because you're calling it somewhere else, so that's okay.
Okay.
And then change the actual function down here. And also right there. Redirect it. Okay. Now, we've still got the wrong header, but that's okay. Because we're going to copy the header and we're going to implement the right function. Because it's not a big function, it's fairly small. So I think we can knock this out. It should be above it, and we're going to just write function read directory contents. And it's going to take a directory. Okay, and now the header.
Contacts.
The header, we're just going to cut and paste that. Because that is the correct header. Okay, and then now we need to change this back. So change that. And by the way, this is not going to return an object. It'll return an array of string. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. An array. Return an array of strings containing a list of all files in the folder and subfolders. Okay. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. Okay. Now, there's two things we could do. We could either go write the function, the body of the function, or we could write the header for this read directory synchronously. Which would you prefer to do right now, first?
The function.
The body of the function?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we got the usual stuff. Function name equal read directory context. Contents. Content. Why did I get this not right? You see, you're copying me, and I'm not even doing it right. Contents. Come on, Seth. You're better than that. All right. Directory contents. All right, directory contents. Come on, you can copy paste it right. Dot name. Okay, you're on the clock, Seth. Come on. Console.log. Backtick. Oh, we can copy paste this. Directory is. We can copy paste it from right there. There we go. And if there's something else we can copy paste. And for sure, we'll do all of this. Just copy paste that. I did it from above, from the get JSON data function.
What'd you copy?
This last 3 lines. It was easier up there. The files found is stringify files found. Okay. And files found is what's for returning. Files found. Return files found.
Where'd you get the begin from? Just from here?
From right here. From just down below in the read directory synchronously. Yeah, because that has the same directory and it's good.
I think you have let function name.
Oh. Oops, you're right. Function name. Okay.
And then begin directory is directory, parse data. Files found.
We only have a few lines here to do. So we could say let files found equals an array. And we got some notes here. Make sure to resolve the path on the local system. Just in case there are issues with the OS that came on. Okay. Directory equals path.resolve. Directory. And then we call read directory synchronously. Pass it the directory. files found equals files collection. And I'm putting a note here, copy data into a local variable. Because this files collection is a global variable, and we can't just keep that because we're going to be returning out of this, and we're not going to be in this. We're not going to have visibility into what that global variable is anymore because we're leaving this class, this file operations. You know, when this function's over, we're out of here, so we're not going to have access to it. So that's why we got to save it in a local variable inside this function. That's why we're saving it to this files found. Files collection is undefined. Have another note, make sure to clear it so we don't have a chance of it corrupting any other file operations. Now that's a bit long, so I think I'm going to move that to the line above.
Files found equals files collection, and then files collection equals undefined.
Yep. With the note right there, that's an important note because we don't want to have a chance of it getting corrupted. Files collection equals an empty array, and that's it. And all we have left is the header to write for this one, which is not, well, it's got a little bit to it.
So is that going to resolve the bug?
It should.
Let's try it.
One thing I would suggest you to do is go through and check all of your console log with the function. Make sure you get that space out of there. Like you said, there was a space problem with it. You can go back through all your files and just check that and make sure. I would suggest let's come back and finish writing up this header properly. It probably should fix it, but we can come back and look at it again tomorrow, and that's fine. I'm not too concerned. And I'll probably make sure it's running on my end too, just before.
What about the parsed function?
The what?
I think we misspelled parsed.
I had parsed up there in the get JSON data.
Yeah, it looks like I ran it.
Try going up.
Now read property 0 of undefined.
Try going up in your file operations. No, file operations.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like you've got it right. Parsed. I think I'm the one that had it wrong. I think you're good. Yep.
Yeah. So the error that I'm getting now is files to load. Can I read property 0 of undefined?
Okay, so there might still be something else.
Okay.
But I think we're getting closer. I mean, it's a different error for sure. And if we had these functions named incorrectly and there was a missing function that wasn't even done properly, yeah, we were clearly going to have a failure.
You have a good night.
Yeah, you too. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Later. Bye.
Thank you.